Okay, so good afternoon or good morning or good evening, depending on where you are joining us from. Let's see if we have anyone online. You can just drop a comment in the comment section. Welcome to the Pabnada Power podcast. And today we are having quite a different topic from what we usually will be discussing. We are going deep into the corporate space to talk about creating safe and supportive work environments. But I want to know who is joining us here. So please do well to drop a comment in the comment section. You can let me know your name and where you are joining us from. So maybe you are Kofi joining from Ashanti region or Kojovi from the Volta region. Let's see who we have online with us. And you can also invite your friends and colleagues to join this very important conversation. And for me, I'm excited about this because as I shared this on my timeline, I had some very good interactions. And I noticed that today people want to know to do better. People
Mm-hmm.
want to know to do better. So please do what to invite your friends and your colleagues. Let's all join and have this very important conversation. Okay, so as I'm Joseph joining from Accra. Okay, Joseph, good to have you here. Did I have my speakers drop off? Okay. Guys, can you give me a moment? Let me get my speakers back. I think they dropped off. In the meantime, as I work on getting my speakers back, please do want to share the link with your friends and your colleagues. You can just copy the link. We are live on YouTube. Okay. Internet, don't do me like this. Think I've okay. So, folks, I'm trying to get our speakers back online. So, kindly bear with us. Okay. If you just joined in, welcome to the Cognada Power podcast. Today we are discussing creating safe and supportive work environments. Just had a little bit of a technical hitch. My speakers dropped off, so I'm trying to get them back online. Okay, great. Anika, good to have you back. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I had to switch to the use of my mobile phone. So we take it like
Wow.
that. I don't know why my laptop is misbehaving, but yes, we are good.
Okay, good. Good, you're back. So let
Yeah.
me work on getting Yvonne to online.
Oh, you want to went off? Okay, as
Yes,
well.
surprisingly, both of you went off at the same time. Okay. Okay. So if you just joined in, you're welcome to Cognada Power Podcast. I can see Joseph. I can see Emmanuel. Thank you guys for joining. Okay, great. I have you all back. Auntie, I might have you back.
Yeah.
Okay, super. This internet shouldn't go like this on us. Oh. We cannot survive this. We don't want this at all. All right. So, right into today's discussion. As I said initially, I'm exceptionally excited to have people joining today's discussion. And for me, it's a testament that people are committed to know more so that they can do better. And in today's dispensation, where knowledge has abound, you, if you do not learn to be able to do better, and you find yourself behind the curve, you'll be doing yourself a very, very great disservice. Now, I don't know if any of you chanced on this news reports of this Indian lady who was age 26, gets employed in one of the big four financial firms in the world, and and she's inundated with a lot of work, and she's inundated with a lot of work, so much so that in the course of it, she loses her life. And per the reports, her mom says she was working at odd hours. Um, she couldn't sleep well. She was having sleepless nights, and this thing was continuous for her daughter, and she could see her daughter go through all this stress. And after reading that story, for me, what really came to my mind was, how was she able to continuously go through this stress without any kind of redemption? Didn't the people in the office see she was going through the stress? Didn't she communicate to her manager? What really went wrong for this to continue to the extent of taking her life? I don't know if you are on this call and you can relate with the lady's story, but today we want to come from a place of knowledge. We want to find out how can we manage work stress, and how can we create that environment to make it possible for us to work. I mean, stress will come once in a while, but how can we manage it in a way that we do not lose ourselves and we do not lose our lives? And to help me to have this conversation, I have two astute HR professionals. Have Nane Ike Dubia, who is an HR practitioner. I have known her, I think, for like 2 years now, right?
More
Maybe
so.
2 years. Yeah.
Yeah, more like
And
it. Yeah.
she's a cut across HR practitioner. She has a degree in human resource management, and her first master's is in business admin, and her second master's is in communication studies. And she's performance driven. She's a communication expert. When it comes to communication, Nanekia is like top notch. Last time I was having a conversation in Charlie, the kind of feedback that I had is, hey, was I saying all this? She gave me a very good feedback. So she pays a lot of attention when it comes to communication. And great to have you on the call today, Nanekia.
Thank
Nanekia, when
you.
I was seeing the report of how you marked one of my speeches, you gave me a very straight
Hmm.
face. You don't remember, or you remember.
No comment.
So yeah,
No
good to
comment
have you.
yet. Thank
Good to
you.
have
Thank
you,
you very much.
Nanekia. Super.
Thank you.
Also, next to Nanekia is Yvonne Redu Akpabli, aka Ama Adiepena. She's an HR practitioner with close to 2 decades experience in the field. She has seen it, done it across different field, different industries as an HR practitioner. And when you sit in her class, you understand that HR is not going to do psychology and they tell you that you know how to talk to people, so go and do HR. You understand the
I
science
know,
behind
right?
HR.
I
you
know,
understand
right?
Yeah, you understand the science behind HR, and you appreciate her for even for her personality. Very fun and lovely person to be around. Ama Adiopreneur, good to have you. Alrighty,
Good to be here. Thank you,
super.
Kwabla.
Thank you too.
My
And
senior and my lecturer and my everything. Come now, you forgot to add that.
yeah, 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 yeah. Lecture, papa, facilitator, please. First
Lecture,
course
papa.
facilitator.
Oh,
I know, right?
So,
Hmm.
good to have you, Yvonne and Nanekia. And to
yeah.
our guests, we want this to be very interactive. It's going to be a 1 hour discussion. We've already done 10 minutes. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comment section. We'll do well to attend to as many questions as we can for this conversation. So let's go right into the conversation now. Let me start with Nanekia. So, Nanekia, when it comes to employee communication, how should
Hmm.
employees effectively communicate when they are feeling overwhelmed or stressed with workload?
Okay. All right, Kavna, thank you very much. But you know me as usual, so far as you did mention a certain story concerning a certain financial institution, of course, we are not all mentioning the name. I would want to
Yeah,
just pass a quick one. Okay, so
sure.
at the backdrop of that story, where we know that a young lady had joined an organization, a financial organization for that matter, and that 4 months into it, she was going through a lot of stress. According to the mother, she sent
Mm,
a bit of an email or sort of to the organization, blah blah. In a nutshell, what we are saying is that strenuous work or workload or overscheduling, whatever it is, affected her. I just want to pass
mm,
this comment. Governor, at the backdrop of this, as HR people or as an employer, I want to find out this. What's some sort of medicals done? How sure are we that whatever happened to her was as a result of strenuous work or workload and all that? If the organization did that, they would have probably found out if there was any underlying health challenge. Because I don't
mm,
know, I find this strange. If I'm sure it's possible, I'm not a paramedic, I'm not a medical person, but I am just
yeah.
thinking from the other side of the coin that what kind
Mm-hmm.
of work schedule can just drop you dead in just 4 months? So for
Mm,
me, presumably, was there a fundamental health problem that she herself or the family they were not aware, and or the medical examination that is meant to be done before an employee is taken off was also probably not duly done? Well, it's just a
mm,
question for the horses out there. I'm not here to judge or anything, but I've just been looking at it from both angles. So yes,
right,
that's just my piece of thought concerning that particular
right,
story. So now we go
right.
straight. How employees can effectively communicate when feeling overwhelmed with work. Come on, the
Mm-hmm.
first thing is speak up.
Yeah.
Even outside work, even at home, at church, with my children, I always tell them, speak up. In class, if somebody is doing something to you, as my daughter, I keep telling you, speak up and go and tell your teacher. So let's move from the domestic side and come into the corporate space as the main reason why we are here. I think the first reason is to speak up. First of all, if you have a
Mm,
supervisor, endeavor or attempt to speak to your supervisor. If it's not working with your supervisor, then you go, I mean, hierarchically, who comes after your supervisor? Is it your manager? Please go to the manager if you're not getting any results about the kind of workload that you think that is too much. If your deadlines are
mm,
usually very close, speak up about it. Another thing I will say is that it's very important that you seek support. Collaborate with colleagues or ask for help when needed. Maybe the manager is really, so let's say that all other colleagues of yours are having the same kind of load. But to you, now the question is, when do we say some kind of work is a workload? At what point do
mm-hmm.
we say that? Because relatively, if all your colleagues are getting that kind of workload across all departments, across all units, and you find yourself in a situation where you are thinking or you know for sure that the workload is just too much for you, you can seek support from your colleagues as well. I mean,
Mm,
trusting your colleagues to delegate and all that. Another thing you can do is take a break. You know your schedule, pen it down. At what point can you take some breaks? Stretch your legs, have a chat on the phone, do something nice that you feel that releases you of tension. So, from the side of the employee, that is what I think that you can do. So maybe some strategies you can use to manage the workload, presumably. You see, I'm being very
Yeah.
careful about the workload because we need to even define what workload is. Is it that your manager is
Mm-hmm.
going out of your job description, or
Mm-hmm.
I mean, whatever it is? But strategies to manage the workload, or let's say the workload stress, will be time management, task delegation, as I've already said, and of course, self care for
You see,
yourself.
and again, you see, the,
Yes.
the interesting thing about this for me is, let's say it's a culture there, right? Everybody is
Mm-hmm.
given some amount of work, okay, and they are
Right.
all able to deliver. But
Mm-hmm.
you are having difficulty with juggling or getting work done. Now,
Mm-hmm.
nobody is complaining. At least nobody
Except
is
you.
telling the supervisor, but you are having a challenge. Now, you do not want to be that person who will be seen like you are the one complaining, but you are suffering inside.
Mm.
Now, how do you overcome something like that? Because you know that some managers will take this feedback, and when it gets to appraisal, they'll use it
Oh no,
differently
internet shouldn't do this.
on you. I mean, that's some of the realities that
Yvonne,
we
can you hear
face.
him?
Yes, and I can hear you too.
So,
Okay,
then
so
can you
Kabna,
hear
you
me?
went off. You went off for just some seconds. Come again.
Okay. So I was saying that um, given the workload and everything, right? What if
Mm.
everybody's able to manage what they are going through, right? But you are having a
Right.
peculiar challenge, right? And you feel like
Mm.
if you go ahead to talk about that challenge, you'll be seen as being lazy or finding excuses. Now, how do you
Mm.
draw that line so that you are not used as a scapegoat and used as a bad example?
Okay, I would emphasize on communication. Speak up. That's
Right.
number one. Communicate it, starting with your supervisor. As I said, I don't want to sound repetitive, but in this communication, make sure that the approach is the right approach. The approach should come with circumspection. The approach should come with respect. You shouldn't be too wild and loud about it, especially
Okay.
under the scenario that you have described, that everybody
Right.
else is okay with their schedule. Same come to
Mhm.
you and you are feeling overloaded. So I think the most important thing is communication. Just do it right.
Mhm.
Communicate it right. If you start with
Mhm.
verbal nicely, if verbal is not working with your supervisor, you move to the next, hierarchical leader, who is probably the manager or head of units or head of department. The approach does matter. But whatever it is, speak up. That's all I want to say for now.
Mhm. Okay, whatever it is, speak up. Okay,
Yeah.
Antiama, let me hear your take on this as well.
So the office environment, there are three dimensions. There's the physical, emotional, and atmosphere. Okay.
Hmm.
The physical, we are talking how the desk is located, and the view, and the emotional, and then the atmosphere is more important in this discussion.
Right.
Because if the relationship between myself and my manager is tensed, it comes back to
Mhm.
the communication issue Nana mentioned. How do I even let him know I'm overworked without
Yeah.
sounding lazy, without
Yeah.
sounding like I'm complaining, especially where my colleagues are quietly handling theirs? There's also the issue of understanding we are all different. Okay, some of us grew up in the village. We can carry a very big basket of cassava from how many miles to the house and we are fine. Another
Yeah.
person can't even carry a bucket of water because that wasn't how they were trained. So I always emphasize this at training and when I get opportunity to talk in my HR space. Managers need to be trained. Most managers are very good technically handling their work. When it comes to the accounting, he's amazing. Operations, excellent. Communications, fabulous. When it comes to people, handling the
Mm.
people, a few want to handle their team members as if they are their children, but these are adults. Some want to handle them as army recruits. Do this, do that. You can't question that kind of thing. So if we understand that this is how the office space is, as a manager, you will even pick these cues before the staff comes to you. If you've had that close relationship, if the
Yeah.
company allows people to speak up and people are not judged, it is not taken against you, it is you are not victimized. You know, it's a culture
Mm.
thing as well. I don't know for India, but in Ghana, when you speak up, it's like you are too known. Everything
Yeah.
this your koro mafu say
You
it.
say
And
it.
I
so
know, right?
when I'm suffering, I'll keep quiet. Okay.
Yeah.
And there are times I voice out things and people are like, we near Dean. And I'm like, what is we near Dean about this? I'm suffering.
Mm.
Why should I say it? Okay.
Mm.
The most important thing is the how you say it as a staff.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
let's not forget there's power play here. The manager has the power. And so if you want to voice out, there's a way to say it. This is where your diplomacy should come in so that you voice it out in a way that gets you get acceptance and then the support you need. Then the
Mm.
manager also needs to understand that the team members are not the same. They may be the
Yeah.
same gender. We are not the same. We're not brought up equally. What may be normal to someone is not normal to another person. So issues of diversity and inclusion comes in here. Understanding team members come in here. Okay. And
Yeah.
it's quite a dicey thing, you know, but
Yeah.
it
Very
starts
much
with
so. Yeah.
Nana has said, because the manager is not God to deduce that you are suffering. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, as a new staff, you also want to prove yourself. So even when you are suffering, you are quietly pushing. And then
Yeah.
one day your body gives up and you are gone. Okay. And there's also the issue when we are talking this overwork and stuff, there are underlying illnesses people have. Some are aware of it, some are not. These can
Not.
also
Yeah.
play, okay, to affect the person, and then something happens and it's like the company was not sensitive enough. But as we have this conversation, let's understand that it's a two-way street. If you don't speak up, it may be difficult for me to pick up and help you. So that's where
Yeah.
it really starts from. But
Yeah.
even before I speak up, what platform, what avenue, what environment has been created to allow me to
Mm.
freely speak up?
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
And if I
And
jump
Kabna.
to my
Okay.
boss's boss, how will it be taken? In Ghana, when you do that, when you escalate matters, they will say, you've reported me. I've not
Yeah.
reported you, I've just escalated it to where power lies, so I
Yeah.
can get
Yeah.
response. Yes. So all these things must be done to help
Mm.
employees speak up when these overwork,
Mm.
overload things come in. Yeah. That's what I'll say for
Great.
now.
Yeah.
Great.
Great. And
Thank you
Kabna,
so much. So yeah.
if I can just add something a little bit to what Yvonne just said, from the side of the manager, right? It is very important. Like Yvonne said, we are all different. And one thing that I
Mm.
picked from what Yvonne said is the training bit. Managers should be trained. When the managers are trained, they will know that they have to clearly communicate goals and deadlines. Communicating goals, that word communicate means that it's between two people. So manager will not sit in some comfort zone of his in some corner of the house or the office and set goals and objectives
Give
for the
time.
employee. Exactly.
Mm.
So that's why we're using the word
I think you
clearly
have.
communicate. So
I think you have
communicate
even
means
jumped into
that,
the next question.
sorry,
You have jumped into the next question that I was going to ask about
mercy
how.
Lord, mercy Lord.
But
What is
yes,
the next question?
so I was going to ask how managers should clearly communicate deadlines and expectations. But before I get there,
Okay.
from what you have both explained on the issue of
Mhm.
communicating freely with your managers. The underlying
Okay.
factor for me is that employees must learn how to manage their bosses as well,
Oh,
as this is a
yes.
two-way street.
True.
So
Yeah.
yeah, because yesterday I was reading a book and it spoke about, I think, four types of managers. So we have the managers who are structural. They want everything to be in flow charts. Why is this happening? Yes,
Yeah.
they want to see
Yeah.
the flow. We have the managers who are people oriented. They want to motivate people to work. So those people are in touch with their feelings. And they have the managers who are results oriented. They want to see the results. And we have the managers
Mm-hmm.
who are visionary. So for them, they don't like the small talk. They're always at the top, strategic. So as a worker, you must know the kind of manager that you're working with. If your manager is
Mm.
very structured and you go there with emotions, it won't fly. They'll see
Mm.
us giving excuses.
Indeed.
So for me, that's what I'm seeing, that we should learn how to even manage those ahead of us as they also manage us.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
that being said, so managers' responsibilities.
Mm.
Managers are inundated with a lot of work as well. Sometimes managers have little information to make very strategic decisions. And they also have to convey deadlines to the teams that they are working with. They have to convey responsibility to the teams that they are working with. How does a manager make sure that he's not overwhelmed? Because sometimes you can go for meetings and information has been given to you, the manager, and you have to now send it down to the people you are working with, and you forget. How do you, and then it happens that it becomes a last minute thing and your team has to get the things done and it becomes pressure. So as a manager, how do you make sure that you are able to um, manage your responsibilities, expectations, and deadlines and pass it down clearly to the people you work with? Naneke.
Okay, so Kwabna, the way I'm seeing this question is like they're concentrating on how the manager can offload. I'm looking at it more from this angle where how the manager can assist the employees or workers or officers to manage themselves and manage their responsibilities so that the certain stress or pressure will be off them. Like Yvonne said, they need to be trained. So I'll go back to my earlier point where I was trying to say that when managers are trained, they will know that they need to clearly communicate goals and deadlines, do it together with them. If they are aware that this is what is expected of me, and you, the manager, you are ensuring that they understand what is expected of them. During that communication, during that session, or during that discussion, she or he may be, depending on how you also go about it as a manager, they will be able to come out and say, oh, boss, last year it was this. It looks like this year we've added more. Do you think I'll be able to blah blah blah? So there and then you'll be able to pick it if indeed is going to put some kind of stress or pressure on the employee. And then of course setting realistic targets. You need to consider
Mhm.
employees' workload and resources. And then amidst that, you provide the necessary resources and support. Ensure employees have what they need to succeed. Sometimes the stress and pressure is because the workload is too much. It's because the person does not have the resources, and that even worsens the employee's situation. And
Mm.
then to offload in a way, in quotes, as you see in my fingers, you one way or the other track, have some bit of tracking, monitoring with the employee bit by bit, seeing how the employee is coming home, so to say, closely with the assignments that you have given. In that way, you can assist the employee to offload, if need be, any stress or pressure associated with any kind of assignments. Going
Mm.
back to exactly what you are asking that how would the manager offload their stress or their lot of work or they may forget? It's just simply by delegation. Delegate. As you delegate, you monitor as well. And then, of course, I also believe that Another thing that from the manager, my concentration is from the manager to the side of the employee. One thing too is that you can assist them with flexible working hours. These days, when people are even looking for employment, look, they look out for employers that do offer flexible hours. One thing to understand is that flexible employee is good for your employee.
I think you, I think your network, you're having some issues with your network.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
unfortunately.
Okay, she's back.
Oh, okay. You lost me at what point, Kabna?
These days, when
At what
people are
point?
looking for employment,
Yes.
Okay. Oh, then that's not just, it's not far away
when,
at all. I was just about
no,
ending it. What I'm saying is
not,
that these days, when people are looking for employment, look, they look out for, and there are statistics to that effect. When people are looking for employment, they look out for organizations or employers that do offer flexible hours. We've gone past those stringent years where you're supposed to do 85, pam, 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 pam. Whilst you've experienced that, oh, this person, when you give him or her flexibility, and we have different types of flexibility. Do you want to work
Mhm.
entirely from home? If there are results, why not? We continue. Do you want to work from 10 to 6? If that is what is going to work, we do it. Some people, the stress is because there are other issues or concerns they are handling at home. And so if the work issues come on top, it's going to be a problem. So why don't you just assist
Mm.
them with some flexible hours where they can balance the two? And of course, productivity is going to be at its peak.
Yeah. Yeah. Very, very, very interesting submission you make right there. So let me go into our audience. So I have Rebecca saying hi, Harriet say joining from Accra. Jason says these things are mostly right in ideal situations. Jason, which ideal situation? Jason
In fact, I
continues.
want to know
Usually,
myself, which ideal situation.
earlier when we were talking about speaking up and all that,
yeah.
where the company
Ah,
is okay with it, it's easy to speak. But where
Hmm.
you'll be victimized,
Yeah, so
you
it
it's
now becomes an
true.
issue of culture. So he
yeah.
says that usually the culture that has been created in the workplace determines how situations like this are treated. Mostly, people join companies and in most cases are forced to comply with the existing norms. Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean,
Mm, mm.
what about that you bring in culture? Culture will really set the pace. There's this popular saying that culture will eat what for lunch.
Strategy for breakfast.
Yes, strategy for breakfast. So
Yeah.
yeah, culture
And
culture
nowadays,
is
they are not
really a
just
big.
eating the breakfast, so they are eating lunch
eh.
and supper as well.
So yes, culture is really a big thing. But Yvonne, what would be your take on that for you, the managerial responsibilities?
So, and I'll bring in my passion for performance management here. Forgive me. You are a manager, you've been given a target to achieve. You were able to argue your case with your boss that this target is too much and your boss reduced it. You come down to your team, you have to share that target to your team. Let's say you are giving them the same target you were given. You won't give each person in the team the same. You should first know your people, know their
Mm,
capacity. Yes, there are some people, I have two team members, okay,
yeah.
currently. There is one that can be stretched. She's single, she's energetic and everything. Unfortunately for me, she will soon be a mother. So I have to start reducing. There's another with children, young children at that. So certain tasks you can't push them on her. But she
Mm,
also has a strength. So you should know the team. Who is who? What can the person do? Okay. One of
yeah.
them is very good linking up with external stakeholders to get things done. One is also very good linking up with internal stakeholders to get things done. So even as you've
Yeah.
shared responsibilities for them, you share it based on their strengths and weaknesses because the weakness can be used to give you results. It can.
Mm,
Yes. So you must know your team members, Know them even beyond the work. Who are they? Where are they? What are they doing? What are their aspirations? What are their hopes? Okay, some of these
Yeah.
things you can get it from them, some you can get as you interact with other staff who are also their friends. You will get it. Then the next thing is, after you've known them and you are sharing the work, and Nanekia said it, do you just give them the work and sit back? No, you need to monitor. Most
Yeah.
managers see this monitoring and checking up as intrusion in their managerial work. So instead of doing monthly checkups, they'll wait till the quarterly or half year that HR says go and check. You need to do monthly, every month, one on one, and then team level. As you do the one on one, you will see why the person is not achieving something. You take it from them
Mm.
to the person who has finished. Even the Bible says it that if they give you two and you cannot do, they will take it and give it to another who can
Yeah.
do. We don't have the same
Multiplying.
Sharp,
capacity.
sharp,
Yes. So
sharp.
they gave us each the same thing to do. Those who came in the morning, afternoon, evening, it was the same pay. It was the same pay they were giving. And Jesus said, I am the man with the job. I decide how
Yeah.
I will pay my people. Yes, and I don't agree with him with my compensation background. So one day when I get there, I will ask him questions. But you need to monitor and monitor,
Mm.
not just asking, how is work going? Is everything all right? No. You were supposed to bring four. How many have you brought so far? What challenges are you facing? What lessons have you learned? What support do you need from me? What support do you need from other managers, other colleagues? It's not coming or it's coming. Sometimes it's not like the person is overworked. It's just because a vehicle that is supposed to be dispatched for them to carry on the work has not been given. And at the end of
Mm.
the term,
Resources,
yeah,
resources, yeah.
you're not giving it. And then you keep blaming the person. Of course, the stress will come in. So when it comes to offloading, you don't just delegate or give them your work. It's important to know them. It's important to monitor. Another thing
Yeah.
managers also have to do, in addition to what we've shared already, is the recognition. Is the
Mm.
recognition. Most times, managers will only criticize. They will only complain about what you are not doing. And
Mm.
we know the person who is appreciated does more.
True.
Recognize them,
True,
appreciate them. There are times
true.
managers are waiting for top management to give them a budget or money to do something. My dear, as a manager, you know your pay is more than the team members' pay. If you reserve 10 cedis a month, by December, that's 120 Ghana. Don't buy any big thing, both fruits and funnels. Just that. Call them
Mm-hmm.
and give it to them. Appreciate them for helping you do so far as a manager, and you will see how they will feel.
Yeah.
Recognize the little things and the big things they do in the team. And then the last one I'll add is feedback.
Mm.
When you've delegated, when you've shared your responsibility, you've known them and all that, give them feedback. The feedback also helps them to know what they are doing well and to continue, what they are not doing well and to stop. And feedback is a two-way street. As you give
Yeah.
them, as the manager, open your ears and collect some.
Good to
When
connect
they
yours.
give you this, don't defend, don't justify,
Yeah.
accept and thank them and then work on it. These things, I believe, create that environment for the people. And then when you are giving them work, even if they are overworked, you would even see it before they come
Yeah.
to complain. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Because if you've given me 10 bottles to pick, Kwabena, I'm supposed to pick two every week. Then we meet
Mm-hmm.
first week, I've not picked two. Second week, I've not picked two. Third week, I've not picked two. Do you want me to come and tell you that two is too much before you get to know? No. Immediately as a manager, you should know something is going on
That's
with,
very wrong. Yeah.
and then you come in to intervene. One
Yeah.
thing I have observed, and let me just quickly add this before we continue, that
Sure.
managers feel they are here and the staff is here. So if the person is struggling, it's your wahala. When bonus comes, you will not get your
You'll get
total.
some.
I know,
You
right?
grow. No, it's your work that you've shared for the team. What you have to do is to motivate them, monitor them, coordinate, give them feedback, recognize, do all the beautiful things you can do for them to do the work for you. In the process,
Mm.
they grow. In the process, you shine as a manager. But
Mm.
sometimes they see it as you are on your own in that corner. I am here. I'll go
Yeah,
to management meeting. After all, if you don't do, other people will do for
we
me.
do it.
And go and
Mm.
shine there. You will shine in the beginning, but your light will be dimmed along the line. Yeah.
Yeah, very, very interesting presentations. From what both of you have shared, what I see running through is intentionality. When you become a manager, you must be very intentional about knowing your team, recognizing them, communicating with them. And I want to give an example of something that happened to me. So I noticed that one thing that's really, which is going to move me into the next question about psychological safety, is about language. The kind of language that you use or you use in the office or with your team. So I noticed that one day I was talking with one of my bosses, right? And if you know me, sometimes I can be very too professional, straight, you know. And we're having a conversation, and the person just changed the language and started speaking what we call in Ghana pidgin English. I just became too comfortable and I started speaking very freely with the person. And I noticed that when somebody knows you and they get you on a certain level that you can feel comfortable, you are free to flow and you feel that psychological safety. So it takes me to this question. What things can managers do to create a psychological safety? Because, for instance, like Jason was saying, the culture can be very different from what the business is preaching.
We
So
say
they preach the business can be preaching, um, we'll give you enough time to take care of yourself. We'll do this for
yes,
you, do
we
this for
speak
you.
up,
We
but
speak
people
up,
cannot speak up.
but you dare not speak up. I think is it Mugabe? Is it Mugabe say that there
Yeah,
is freedom
Idi
of
Amin.
speech, but freedom Idi Amin. Okay,
Freedom
is
of
it
the
that
speech cannot be guaranteed.
freedom of the speech cannot be guaranteed? So really, what can managers do to create that kind of psychological safety in the space? Nanik.
Mm.
Governor, straight up, demonstrate it. You see, there's one thing that I also keep saying about culture. I keep on saying that culture is what leaders allow.
Yeah.
So no matter what it is, if the culture is that bad, if there's that toxic, if the environment is that toxic, if the environment is such that, hey, managers are seen as the kakai of the moment, they can't easily come to you. It is you, it boils down to the manager that can change that kind of perception or that kind of environment. So, point
Yeah.
number one, demonstrate it. Demonstrate that we are all vulnerable. Demonstrate empathy and authenticity. What level of empathy can you show? Put yourself in the person's situation and do same. And then, of course, one other thing too is that build trust. You see, if you have done something before, so for example, I was going through a situation, and as a manager, I came to you to come and, discuss the situation with you, how you can assist me. And the following day, or the maximum, the next 24 hours, I heard others talking about it. My situation
Mm.
was being discussed in the manager's office during general manager's meeting. You've lost trust. So, as a manager, psychologically, how we can help our officers is to ensure that we build trust, follow through on commitments, maintain confidentiality, and be transparent. You do not
Mm-hmm.
be open. Whatever you do to Officer A in terms of delegation, in terms of performance management, please do the same. Do not do A to Madam Officer A and then do something different to Officer B. Let trust be clear. Let trust be felt. And then, of course, promoting respect will also help this. If there are any biases that are going on, any form of discrimination, bullying that will come to your attention, clock it immediately, slash it
Mm.
immediately, see to it that it is solved. So the only thing I want to end this issue about managers creating psychological safe work environment is be an example, demonstrate empathy, foster open communication, let them know that you're always ready for them, encourage active listening. When they are talking to you, ask questions, let them know that you are flowing with them. Ask questions. Oh, is that so? Oh, okay. How can I help you? And so when this happens, let them know that you are following, you are flowing, move along
Yeah.
with them. In that sense, when there is an issue, then we can easily come to you. Confidentiality is very key. And maybe the last thing I want to say under this is that empower employees. Kobna, empower
Mm.
employees. If there's somebody in your office and it's time for the person to be promoted, or you are going on leave, the person is the one, let's say a senior officer that comes right after you as the head of the unit. You are going on leave and you're going to allow another manager in probably even in another department, or it could be the same department, to act. You know what? That thing really kills. You are not empowering
Mm.
them. When you empower them psychologically, they feel is that high tech of resource that you can always offer your officers or employees. Empower them. And
Mm.
then when you do that, you're supporting their growth and development, and it will definitely leave a leverage when it comes to your attempt as a manager to create a certain psychological safe work environment.
Okay, great. So empower your employees. I like that bit of it. But let me
Mm.
go to the next question with Antiama. So now workload, right?
Mhm.
Um, Sometimes you have to do some hours beyond work hours. Sometimes you have to do weekends. How can organizations and leaders establish clear guidelines around after work hours, after work communication? Because one of the dominant thing in the 26-year-old Indian lady's mom's letter was how the daughter was being engaged after work hours, how she was being engaged on weekends consistently and continuously. What can managers do to work around things like this? Because sometimes it can become a bit too much and it can
Yeah.
cause trouble.
So it depends on the nature of the work. There are some jobs it has to be done 24/7. So
Hmm.
how
Yeah.
do you do it? And let me give an example. In MSc, we have one department that most of the departments do 24/7, but this particular one is official. So every 8 hours, somebody is put on the mails to respond to them. And so after that, another person takes over. After that, another person takes over. So 24 hours, it is working. It comes back to the planning of the manager. How do you plan your work? Knowing that these people need to work 40 hours a week, maximum 60. They shouldn't go beyond. These people have a life. They have weekends to deal with. Okay, so the
Hmm.
planning is very, very important. The second one is knowing them. I will not give a single person work to do Friday at 4 p.m. Am I a witch? The person is you should know. The dating starts on Friday. As she's sitting there or he's sitting there, by 4
Yeah.
p.m., he's booted off. He's
I
thinking of how
know.
to impress that beautiful lady, what to do, where to go, and all that you are saying passes here and goes out. Sorry. So
Yeah.
you should know the people. Okay, you should know them. And then you yourself should practice empathy and said it right. How would you feel if your own boss is worrying you on a weekend? Do this, do that, do this, do that. You will not be happy. These people have a life. Yes, they're working for you, but they have a life. You should allow them to also have that life. If you know them, you will know who can be stretched and who cannot
Yeah.
be stretched. For example, the one who attends SDA can be given something to do on Sunday and is free on Saturday, which is their Sabbath. But you don't put all of them together and say we have to finish this project, and so we are all finishing.
So,
Only
Atama,
issue of
from what you are saying, right? There's
Mhm.
something that they say in the corporate that the reward for hard work is more work. So does it
Yes,
mean that
hard work means more work. No, good work means more work.
so that doesn't mean that if you are that employee who always gets work done, it means that you're going to be getting more work on your table, which in effect will mean that you'll be noticed, which is the good part.
And you'll be promoted. You see, it's like a two-edged sword.
Yeah.
There is something to gain, something to lose. And this comes back to the manager knowing the staff. If you know the
Mhm.
employee, you know their career ambition, you know where they are striving to. So when you are stretching them, you don't just stretch them because you have a lot of on your plate and you are delegating to them. You delegate strategically. The things you give them to do are in line with their own career plans. Okay. I
Mm,
had a manager who took me to almost every meeting. Every meeting, I'm part of it, hanging around, writing minutes, coming back, rewriting them, and all that, because of what he knew I wanted to be. And it was
yeah.
part of the building up. You get it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you know the person, sharing responsibilities, even you share it with that knowledge. You stretch the person with that knowledge. Okay. And
Right.
then if you, it shouldn't be a regular thing. The whole 365 days of the year, the person is doing weekends, holidays. What is it? It
Mm,
means you need more staff. Put all cost cutting things aside and recruit. Select
yeah.
new people to join to reduce the workload of the person.
Depending.
But if it is a project, some 2 months something, 3 months something, that's fine. But even that, I say when it is over, reward them. When it is over, appreciate them for stretching. Because sometimes after doing this, it doesn't come with promotion or bonus or anything. It's done and dusted, and that's it. Okay. And with
Great.
this environment, we are talking about this support and how these managers, sometimes it's not just the managers, but their managers also don't help. The
Mm,
ones at the top, they don't live by example, they don't preach what they are saying, and it becomes difficult for their own team members to adopt it and roll it down to their team members. Sometimes when the middle manager is doing the right thing, it looks odd.
yeah.
Odd. And so
Yeah.
it all comes back to training them, training them. And somebody has just commented that some of the managers don't even understand the goals to explain it to the team
It's
member.
you. It's
Yeah.
you. They
Oh
are totally
no.
at sea.
Oh
So he
no.
So how does he break it down to tell you this is what is expected? So the staff is using all the knowledge and skill they have to do it, deliver a result, and they say, no, this is not what it should be. But my manager said, and then a manager who has not empowered his people, provided resources, instead of just accepting responsibility, will now give them up. It's not me, oh, it's Yvonne
Yeah.
at that level, and then give the staff up. And you walk around the company, everybody sees you and say, hey, it is you who is destroying your department. It is you.
Be using you
That's
as a
what
bad
we want to
example.
address.
Interesting. So
Yeah.
let me quickly go through the comment section as well. So I have Minel joining us from Canada. Minel, good to have you. I have Arnold. Arnold says that I think managers would have to analyze the strengths and weaknesses of their subordinates in terms of work performance based on the subordinates' financial, social, and moral weakness and strengths. Rita
Mm.
says that I think sometimes because these managers lack training or are not ready to learn
I like the
new
second one.
thinking,
We are not ready to learn.
they're not ready to learn new thinking. They are up there already. They seem not to understand or are able to interpret the goals well. Rita says this can bring misunderstanding. Rita, you're talking from experience. Anna says that that should be vital, because if a subordinate is in the right frame of mindset, workflow becomes so natural. Okay, thank you guys so much. I think we have like about 5 minutes. If there are any questions, you can drop them in the comment section. We want to do well to keep our conversations within an hour. So if you have any questions,
Okay.
do well to keep them in the
Yeah.
comment section.
Pabna,
Yes.
So with your question concerning whether it is right for employers to contact their officers after working hours, like Yvonne said, is dependent on the organization. But
Yeah.
there is one organization that I ever worked with and for, and what they do is that, or what they used to do is that we actually did establish a clear policy on that. So then
Mm.
we defined acceptable after hours that we can communicate. So, in fact, after 5 o'clock, when you send an email, maybe you can try WhatsApp. You send an email to, and some of the assignment, it really has to be documented, formal, through email. So you send an email,
Mm.
it won't go. It will hang in until 8 a.m. the following day.
Wow.
So when we probably, oh yeah, when you set a clear
That's
policy, it's
culture
like
and strategy.
I am telling you. So, everybody is aware. Everybody is aware. And I hear in the multinational organizations, it's really, really rampant there. That's what they do. It's very common. They said you are not
Mm.
supposed to. So it's not like other places where your boss sending you message after office work at hours now. You go like you day for Charlie,
But
your
some,
manager
yeah,
believes
some people
you.
feel it means they
Yes.
are working hard. They are
Yes,
indispensable.
it means they are working hard, and all that.
Yeah.
But it all
Oh,
goes down to what Yvonne and I said. The manager officer relationship, it's got to be solid. If your manager knows you very well, there wouldn't even be the need for policy. But nowadays, the way things are going, it looks like it's very important that clear policies are developed in every area of our HR life in the corporate world. I mean,
Yeah.
we just need to encourage self-care basically. So if there's a policy saying that you can't call me after this, you can't send me work after this, I think it will help minimize the overstressed corporate environment. Let's work
Yeah.
within time. If you feel that throwing in flexible hours would help, why not? In fact, you know what? Where I work now, when we started taking serious working from home policy, you know
Yeah.
what? Not only has productivity gone up, but utility bills have also gone down. So, as
Yeah.
strategic HR as we want to be, you are contributing to cutting cost. One
Mhm.
area that people have not really realized. Indeed. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, that's very interesting. So in the long run, you also affect the bottom line. Like they
Yeah.
would always be complaining that HRs are just involved or concerned about activities and do not
Mm,
think too
mm.
much about the bottom line. It's all training, training, training. But let me hasten to add
Me-
that taking care of people, managing teams is not just the HR's job. Like, yes, the HR are the gatekeepers of people,
It's the
but
line
if you
manager's
are
job.
yes, if you're a manager, you must learn how to manage your people at every level that you find yourself. If you have people under you, you must have the skill of managing them. If you leave everything to the HR, if there are issues, you just push to HR, you're just doing a technical job, you will not get noticed, you will not grow. So I think we are 2 minutes to end. Thank you all for joining. I know there's so much that we want to discuss. We'll organize this again, but you can join my newsletter. I'll be sending out newsletters on some of these issues that we can be discussing, you can be reading about. So visit my website, kwabnadapart.com. Just at the foot of my homepage, enter your name and your email address, and you'll be added to my newsletter. So the email again is kwabnadapart.com. I see Philippa Sampson's question. So Philippa, I think you can link up with Yvonne. You can just link her up on LinkedIn. Yvonne Redua probably on LinkedIn. Send her a message because your question there, if we start, we'll not finish right now. We'll
we'll
not
make
finish right
Anekwa to become emotional.
now. To become emotional. So yeah, Philippa, thank you for speaking up. So yes, let's one important thing that I'm taking away from here is that we should learn to speak up. And in speaking up, you
Yeah.
should be emotionally intelligent. It's not just that we told you to speak up, then
Yeah.
you go and open your mouth and you say everything. You'll find
Yeah.
yourself in
It's
trouble.
not just according to your whims and caprices. Be more, be
Exactly.
wise about it. Be wise
Yeah.
about it.
Exactly.
Because
Yeah, so you should be
the
joining
approach.
conversations like this so that you're able to learn how to survive in the corporate space. There is a science to surviving in the corporate space, and you have to learn it. It will not just come to you because of time you spent in the corporate space.
Yeah.
You have to be deliberate about learning it. You can attend HR Certification Center has a lot of training courses. You can check them out. You can call them on 0244 122 855. I remember the number.
You
Zero
can't.
two
Yay!
four four.
Too much, too much, too much love.
I know, right? 0244 122 855, and they'll help with all your HR and
Yeah.
management needs. And let me also
True.
add this. One of the things that will also affect you emotionally. So Yvonne spoke about atmosphere. When she spoke about atmosphere, I just looked behind her. I thought she was because she's in the space. She's telling us to look at atmospheres. Guys, look behind Yvonne. Look in Yvonne's video.
Let's
You see
see.
the atmosphere. Wow,
I know,
atmosphere.
right?
That's physical. That's physical, not
Yeah, physical.
atmosphere.
No, no, this
Physical.
one is atmosphere. This one is atmosphere. The feeling is that the atmosphere gives a very good feeling. So
Yeah, it
yeah,
does. It does.
part of having a good mindset is your finances. And I want to introduce you guys to the Achieve app. Achieve app is a digital investment platform. You can have it on Google Play Store and App Store. Just type Achieve, Save, and Invest. It's a convenient way of investing your money. You just have to sign up, put in your Ghana card, and you can start investing. Your Ghana card will be confirmed, and that means your account will be confirmed, and you can start investing. And you see how your money will be growing on a daily basis. Is a subsidiary of Petra Holdings. So if you know Petra
Oh,
Trust, Petra Securities,
okay.
this is one of their products.
Oh, okay.
So Achieve, Save, and Invest. It's very secure. We've been in operation for the past 4 years. Even during the economic meltdown in Ghana, that people
The
have been
DDEP.
affected by haircuts, and yes, none of the Achieve investments were touched. So they
Wow.
made very good decisions, and it's a very good place that you want to check
Well,
out. So check
Petra
it
is
out.
trusted.
Achieve, Save, and Invest. Yes, Petra is
We deal
trusted. The employers
With
know.
Petra in our organization, so
Yeah.
Great, great. So Achieve, Save, and Invest. Check it out, and please do want to subscribe to my podcast, the Kwabnadapa podcast. Subscribe here, and also visit my website kwabnadapa.com and sign up for my newsletter, and you get to hear more about information that is going to help you take informed decisions about your life during the various vicissitudes of your life that you're going to go through. So thank you very much, Yvonne, and thank you very much, Nanekia. It's been a pleasure having you for the past 60 minutes. We've learned so much from you, and definitely I'll come knocking at your doors again because I can see my people in the comment section say, "We love you, we want to hear more." So we should do this again, Nanekia and
and
Yvonne.
also
Thank you, Kavna. And
thank
thank
you,
you
Thank you very
Kabna.
guys
much.
for tuning in.
All
Thank
right. So
you.
let me just take your last
Okay.
words and then we'll call it a wrap. Let me take your last words. Let me start with Nanika.
Okay, Kabna. So I'll just rehash what I said about if you think that you're being stressed, you think that you're being overloaded with work, you think that there's so much pressure. Maybe it's the same load, but initially you didn't feel that there was so much pressure. Now you feel so. It's probably because there's a fundamental health issue that you need to check it. That's number one. If it's not that, please, you just need to speak up. But speak up appropriately, the right words, with respect, the approach that is from the side of the officer or the employee or worker. From the part of the manager, like Yvonne said, just know your people you work with. The load you can throw at me may not be the same load you can throw at my colleague. Manage it. And for employers, ensure to train your managers to achieve the optimum to the bottom line without throwing stress or pressure at anyone in the organization.
Thank you very much. Let's hear from Yvonne.
So I'll add that having that kind of emotional balance at work is a two-way street. You, the staff, you have a responsibility. Sometimes not even performing can give you stress because you will always be called upon to be reprimanded. So when we go to work, let's work. Let's learn to speak up when things are not going well and do it just like Nanekia has taught us to. For the managers, please, let's be trained. Open up yourself for some of these training programs. Build yourself up. Know your people. Know them. When you know them, you will know when you are doing them good and when you are doing them bad. And then at the
Yeah.
organizational level, HR should put in measures, policies, procedures, processes, systems that will force managers to ensure that we are not pushing our people beyond where they should be. Because the repercussions are huge, Kotna. They are huge.
Yeah.
Even when they don't die or they don't resign, it's
Hmm.
huge. It's
Yeah.
huge. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you very much, Yvonne. Thank you very much, Nikia. See you on the flip side. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.